Exactly.
Yes, Professor, let's go now to ANC Chief Whip, Mr. Jackson Mthembu, joins us live from Cape Town. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you for joining us here on ANN7 this afternoon. I'm also joined by Professor Sipho Siepe, who wants to engage with you as well a little bit later. But, sir, just give us your reaction to what we heard from Chief Justice Mogoeng, ultimately that the onus of that decision to put down a motion of no confidence by a secret ballot hangs on the shoulders of the Speaker, Baleka Mbete.
Now, first of all, as a constitutional state, as an organization that also respects our judiciary, we note and welcome this decision of the Constitutional Court. Of course, we are still studying it. It has just been made now. But our first take is that indeed the Speaker is nudged by this judgment, working with all instruments that she has at her disposal in Parliament to probably look at the possibility of conducting the motion of no confidence on the President through a secret ballot. Now, where we are seated, the Speaker does not have this discretionary power where she can sit in her office or in her house and decree that there will be a secret ballot. She has to come to a rules committee. That is the committee that determines the rules of Parliament and how activities of Parliament will be conducted. In this respect, the ANC will not be obstructionist when the Speaker comes to the Rules Committee. We will obviously play our role as a matured political party. Now, whether we come with a secret ballot at the end as instructed by the Constitutional Court or we don't, the ANC caucus will not vote with the opposition to remove our president and remove our government. We will not do so, because we are a party-based political system in this country. We are members of the ANC deployed in Parliament by the ANC. We are an ANC caucus belonging to a different political school from that one of the Democratic Alliance. We therefore cannot vote with the opposition to remove our president and remove our government. That is the bottom line. We have discussed these issues at caucus, not once, not twice, for quite some time, and we are all in agreement that we will not come to Parliament to remove our president and our government. That is a no-no. Whether you do that through a secret ballot or you do that through any other voting mechanism, the ANC caucus is clear and not confused. We are also not bewitched.
Chief Whip, thank you very much for joining us here, but just give us further details as to the decision-making process here and when ultimately a decision in this regard will be made.
Well, as you will know, the political parties did approach the Speaker and wanting an urgent motion or vote on this motion of no confidence. And the date was set. That date was the 18th, if I'm not mistaken, of June. All of us had to come back, but after that, that date was then changed again through the political parties who said that they have now gone to the Constitutional Court to request the Constitutional Court to look into the question of secret voting. Now, that date was changed, and the Speaker, when that date was changed, the Speaker said any other date will then be set by the National Assembly Programming Committee. That is the structure that schedules sittings of Parliament, meetings of portfolio committees, oversight visits, you name it. All those issues that speaks to scheduling of parliamentary work is in the hands of the National Assembly Programming Committee. It's that programming committee that will now be seized with the actual date on when this matter will come before the House.
Chief Whip, I'm also joined in studio by Professor Sipho Siepe, who'd like to engage with you. Professor, it's over to you.
Yeah, Jackson, I think there are two issues that had to be decided on. One was what appeared to be confusion on the side of the Speaker, or where she sought clarity about her discretionary powers. And the court did affirm that she has those. And they said whether it is going to be through a secret ballot or otherwise, it is a judgment call to make. So what I don't understand is that why did it require the court to make that clarification when the Constitution does not express itself in a particular way? It gives you latitude. So that's the first one. Then the second one would be your notion of that the ANC will not be obstructionist. Here, what I also heard the Chief Justice to be saying, and the court, is that it seems to suggest that ours is a constitutional democracy that is built on the principle of accountability and transparency. And the Chief Justice seemed to be suggesting that this notion of making decisions under the cover of darkness is not something that the court looks at in a favorable light. What is your position? Because my reading of it is that the motion of no confidence has been something that has been tried. Here, what we see are the opposition parties trying to enlist the court in the process that they had failed a number of times. So what will guide you in terms of those two positions?
Sipho, thank you very much again for your questions. On the first issue, indeed immaterial what the court might say on the discretion of the Speaker. How Parliament works is that the Speaker needs to come before a multi-party forum called the Rules Committee. It is in that multi-party forum where decisions that affect the working of Parliament are then taken through consensus. Now, I am not totally in agreement with any notion that the Speaker has any discretion on this matter. In fact, the discretion that the Speaker might have, it is as far as she can convince the Rules Committee that this is a right way to go. That's where her discretion ends and starts. But of course, when the Speaker is sitting in her seat as a Speaker in the Assembly, and she makes whatever decisions, that's where the discretion comes in when she is presiding. That's where the discretion comes in, informed by our rules. On your second issue, where the Constitutional Court has indeed nudged the Assembly through the Speaker to look favorably at secret voting. I wouldn't like to be drawn into the politics of this Comrade Sipho. All that I would like to be drawn into is that we respect the court decisions. Respecting the court decisions does therefore not mean that we are still not a party-based political system. Ultimately, the ANC caucus, which I am a leader of, which I am also party to, that ANC caucus will not vote with the opposition to remove a president of the ANC and our government. As you know, when you remove the president in terms of Section 102 of our Constitution, what also follows as a consequence is the folding up of the government. Now, It's only a bewitched political party that can do so. And if we were to do so, I can assure you, Comrade Sipho, we will be doing so to benefit the Democratic Alliance and the EFF that have been on record saying they want to remove the ANC from government. Now, I will not be party as the leader of that caucus. I will not be party, and that caucus will not be party to the fulfillment of the political agenda of the Democratic Alliance and the EFF and any other party in opposition in removing our president and removing our government. As far as that is concerned, the ANC caucus is clear. We are not confused and we are not bewitched to support any actions that are meant to cut our feet, politically speaking.
Yeah. Let me just ask you one last question. And there's a question that I'm raising because I've entertained it a number of times. There is this, which I call a false argument, that seems to suggest that the voting according to your conscience necessarily means that you are voting against, you should vote against your party, and if you vote against your party, then you'll be consistent with the Constitution. How do you begin to respond to that? Because at least we know that the members of the opposition, when they vote, they are driven largely more by their dislike of the ANC and its president. But you still need to convince the people that your vote that might be consistent to the party dictates does not offend one's conscience.
I can assure you, if I was not happy with the approach of the African National Congress on any matter, I will not be a member of that party. Let's first start there. Secondly, I will not be sitting in the parliamentary benches of the African National Congress if I was not happy with the policy direction and the political posture of the African National Congress. It is therefore unthinkable that when you are expected to vote in what is perceived to be a conscience, you must therefore vote against the party political stance. To me, it's just unthinkable, because I'm here in the party benches of the ANC owing to my belief in the correctness of the policy articulation of my glorious movement, the African National Congress. Therefore, it does not follow that if I vote in terms of the decisions and the policy articulation of the ANC, therefore I'm not necessarily following my conscience. In fact, I am following what is normally perceived to be political consciousness. My political consciousness is embedded in the politics of the African National Congress, not in the politics of the Democratic Alliance or the EFF. That's where my political consciousness resides. Equally, that's where the political consciousness of all ANC caucus members resides.
Question for this witness.
Let's leave it there, Chief Whip. Thank you very much for making time for ANN7 this afternoon. That was the ANC Chief Whip, Mr. Jackson Mthembu, lamenting there that the ANC will not vote in line with the opposition. Joining me in studio is still Professor Sipho Siepe, but we're joined by ANN7's political analyst, Mr. Sifiso Matlang.